guys, it's Becky here and welcome back to my YouTube channel, or if you're listening to this on a podcast, welcome back. This is Becky's Bants Tea and Talk episode number 10, and today I want to talk to you about New Year's resolutions and the harm they can actually do to your mental well-being. So let's get to it. So first off, today I am drinking a Twinings Digest tea, which I had to bring the packet up with me because I couldn't remember what was in it. But there's spearmint, apple, rooibos with, I can't say this, but it's BAOBAB. I don't know what that is. If you know what that is, please drop it in the comments. But it helps to support normal digestion. So yes, today I want to talk to you about New Year's resolutions and how they can actually cause more harm than good when you set them, and how we can, just by changing the language, how we can change our whole interpretation of our goals and New Year's resolutions. So my New Year's resolutions every year would be to get fitter, eat healthier, be more mindful. And did I ever achieve those? No. And I felt that there was one reason why I just wasn't invested in my resolutions as much as I could have been, and that's because of the language I was using. And I felt like I was constantly influenced by adverts on television, social media, and all of those. And I kept thinking, like, are these my goals, or are these goals that society has just put on me, and that pressure that comes with it? And it was only kind of in the recent years that I've started to look at these differently and look at the language differently. So obviously the word resolution is to resolve something. So a problem, or a query or something like that, then needs something to resolve it. So there is like a necessary kind of pressure on top of that. Whereas if we change our terminology slightly and change the language we use when it comes to dealing with goal setting and New Year's resolutions and things like that, if we use the word intentions or intention, that has a lot more power behind it, and it actually is better mindfully, because it kind of feels like it's coming from a better place. It's coming from a place of love and a good place. Whereas when you say resolution, sometimes it just doesn't put us in a good headspace. We are all human, and as we know, life can throw us huge curveballs. Hello, we've come into 2021, still in a pandemic, still in a lockdown. So this just goes to show that we have no control over things sometimes. And it's important to remember that when you're setting goals and when you're setting your intentions. So, and it's just about being realistic. I mean, you should know by now that although I am a dreamer, I do have dreams, I'm also quite a realistic person. That's the Capricorn in me, is that I'm constantly realistic of things, making sure that I look after myself, my finances, and all of those stuff. Whereas I'm still plodding along with the music and things like that, but I still need to be sensible, especially in this climate that we're in now. So that's another thing about maybe when you're setting goals and stuff, is not to limit yourself. Like, don't limit your belief in yourself and your goals, but to just be realistic with the world that's going on around you. Like, if you set a goal, a New Year's resolution to get to Cuba next month, you might need to rework that, but if you intend at some point to get to Cuba, or if you're intending to get to somewhere within this year, obviously just using these as examples, that just takes a little bit of pressure off, and it makes everything just feel a bit lighter and a bit better. So yeah, so with regards to like diets and losing weight and things like that, like obviously life is about balance. And if I've learned anything through my years of dieting and crash dieting and personal trainers, that is something to be mindful of. And I think I recently, if you follow my YouTube channel, know that I tried to do 70,000 steps in a week. And that was interesting for me because I'm not the most active I have been compared to a couple of years ago when I was acting and dancing and all of that sort of stuff. When I was training, I was super fit, and I kind of lost that a little bit. But due to kind of like knee problems and back pain and all this sort of stuff, I had to change up what sort of exercises I was doing to try and accommodate for all of those things. And obviously it can be, as you get older, it gets harder, and I'm now 30, so I'm getting a bit more mindful about that. But through talking to Tammy at T Fitness with Tammy, you know, we managed to set some kind of realistic intentions, to make some goals, and now I'm very mindful about making sure I'm moving every day, especially now I'm working from home, making sure I get out and get some fresh air, and eating a balanced diet, you know. And that's another key thing. Like, I'm not a dietitian, I'm not a health expert or anything like that, but don't restrict yourselves. If there's chocolate you want to eat, eat it. If there's crisps you want to eat them, but just be mindful that you might have to do a bit more movement, you might have to do a bit of walking. And again, like, if that is something you want to work on this year, that's great, but just say, like, I intend to be healthy, or I intend to work out a bit more. Yeah, so it just takes a bit of pressure off. It all comes from a good place. And if you don't, for some reason, end up doing what you set out to do, it's okay. Like, we are, you know, in a very tough situation at the moment. Everyone's going through different things. So, I mean, you don't have to take my advice at all, but it's there if you want it. But for me personally, I've noticed that if I say my New Year's intentions are, again, it takes a little bit of pressure off. It comes from a better place. And when you're intending to do something, you're putting that out into the universe. And, you know, with the law of attraction, if you ask for it and if you believe in it, you will receive it. So it all works in that kind of just that better place. So I just want you guys to just have a little think about what you've set for yourself and whether you can change the language and how that then makes you feel. And yeah, please do let me know how that does make you feel once you've done them, and what some of your intentions are this year. This podcast is a really short one because I just wanted to get it up and get it out there before you all start like headlong into your resolutions and getting yourself into a really bad headspace. Like, we don't want that. We have to be kind to ourselves now more than ever. We have to look after our mental well-being. We have to look after ourselves physically. So please take care of yourselves. Do what feels good. And yes, just be safe. And I will be back soon with some more Bants, tea and talk. So take it easy, guys. Bye-bye.